In this video, we're going to learn how to solve this math problem, which I believe is similar to a past PSLE math question. One machine took 65 minutes, while another took 95 minutes to print the same number of copies of a newsletter. The faster machine printed 12 more copies of the newsletter per minute, right, than the slower one. Part A. The slower machine completed the job at 1 p.m. At what time did the printing start? Part B. What was the total number of copies printed by the two machines? So let's answer part A first. The slower machine completed the job at 1 p.m. Right, so between these two machines, the 95 minutes machine is of course the slower one. Right, so in order to find the time minute which started, we have to divide this by 60 minutes. Right, because 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. Right, so let's take our calculator. 95 divided by 60. So we get 1.58 something, so that means it is 1 hour. So let's get rid of the 1, minus 1. We are left with only the decimal, and to get the exact number in minutes, we have to multiply that by 60. Right, so it is 35. So this is actually 1 hour and 35 minutes. Right, so since the printing completed at 1 p.m., so we have to take 1 p.m. minus 1 hour. That means that will be 12 p.m. Right, then from 12 p.m. we have to minus off 35 minutes. Right, so it will be at 11 something. So what is that something? So we have to take 60 minus 35. This will give us 25. Right, so coming back to this, it means that the printing has started at 11:25. So that's the answer for part A. Right? Quite straightforward. Right, so now let's tackle part B. So for part B, we want to find out the total number of copies of the newsletter. Right, and then we are given this information that the faster machine actually prints 12 more copies per minute. Right, so now we have two machines. One is 65 minutes to print the same number of copies. So let's assume let each machine prints T number of copies. Right, so T copies for the first machine, it requires 65 minutes. Right, so in 1 minute, how many copies will be printed? So it will be T divided by 65. Right, we can do the same for the second machine. It requires 95 minutes to print T copies. Right, so in 1 minute, it will print T divided by 95 copies of the newsletter. Right, so now between these two numbers, T over 65 and T over 95, T over 65 is the bigger one because it is divided by a smaller number. Right, so we can take T over 65 minus T over 95. This will give us our 12 more copies. Right, so now it's only a matter of a little bit of numerical manipulation. Right, so on the left hand side is actually the same as this. I take out the T and then leave all the fraction inside the bracket. This will be equal to 12. So t will be equal to 12 divided by everything that is inside the bracket. Right, so you can use your calculator, and I believe t is actually 2470. Right, but that is not the final answer, because the question asks for the total numbers, and t is only the copies printed by each machine, so we have to multiply that by 2. Right, so 2470 multiplied by 2, that will give us 4940. So that's the final answer for part B. So it's practice time now. Go to the link that is given below. Right, you get to this site. This is the problem that we have just solved. Okay, so click on the new problem button. You'll get a new set of numbers to practice on. Right, just make sure that you can solve the entire problem all by yourself. Right, click on the answer to check your answer. Okay, so guys, thank you for listening. Have fun.